Okay, Amit Mehtaji, if you can answer this, or I will answer that. The first question is GST. Whether the GST is applicable on the rehab portion.
You would be aware that there is a matter pending in the Supreme Court, and as far as the rehab portion is concerned, the answer is no. It is not applicable. But what happens? Many of the builders are not taking chances, and they're keeping that amount separately and telling them right now only you keep this amount separately.
Okay, let me explain to the participants. GST is a component which has to be recovered by the builder for the person whom he is giving the service. Now, there are two components which the developer constructs. One, he constructs the building and gives the constructed area to the existing members as per the development agreement free of cost. So the question is, when it is given free of cost, whether the GST is payable by the existing member. Right now, the government circulars and the provisions of the law is very clear that even on the free portion, because it is given as a service on the market value, GST is payable by the existing flat buyer. However, many DA contains a provision that even if the GST is payable, that will be paid by the developer. This is one way. Second, Advocate Amit Mehta has rightly pointed out, because it is a free of cost and it is given to the existing members out of the development agreement, and therefore GST should not be charged, and therefore the matters are pending in the High Court as well as in the Supreme Court. So till such time, the developers are taking very conservative policy to recover such GST amount from the existing members and keep it aside. So any other questions on this? Yeah, Samir Vastani has a question. After the DA is registered, can a society back off or vice versa? Amit Mehta. Can the DA be terminated? That is what he is saying.
Yes, it can be, but through a procedure of law, because there are only two ways to terminate a registered document. It is either signing a deed of cancellation between both the parties jointly in consultation and mutual agreement with each other, or take a decree from the court if none of them are agreeing.
Okay, if the developer does not comply with the conditions put in the DA, okay, he should obtain the IOD within 6 months. Thereafter, within next another 9 months, 3 months, he should get the CC. He should start the construction, let us say, by within a period of 1 year. But even after 2 years, even IOD is not obtained. So there is no termination clause in the development agreement. For breach of trust or breach of contract, whether such agreement can be terminated. If it is to be terminated, what are the chances that the developer will win or the society will win?
Please note that there has been a judgment of the High Court and Supreme Court that even if a exclusive term of termination has not been mentioned in any agreement, the contracts are always terminable by either mutual consent or by the court. Please note that by not merely mentioning the clause does not mean you cannot terminate the agreement. That is number one. Number two, as far as the violation is concerned by a developer in a development agreement, please note that you can always go and terminate the agreement when you are able to prove that there has been a clear-cut violation, and the courts will be happy to terminate it.
Okay, Anand Gupta ji, you have some questions to ask?
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Amit Mehta ji, you pointed out that 50% of the building in Mumbai are not having occupation certificate. So what is the future of redevelopment of all these buildings?
So that is only a now matter of administrative formalities, because there are certain things that the developer at that point of time may not have complied with, and that's why the OC will not have been received. See, there are 3 types of defaulters as far as these buildings are concerned where OC has not been received. One, that a developer may not have complied with certain things at that point of time. So basically, example I'll give: drainage completion certificate. If he has not submitted, then he may not have got OC. There are certain things under the urban land ceiling at ULC where they would not have complied with, then they would not have got OC. So that's the first point where the OC was not received. The second is non-compliance of certain payments. There are certain premiums which are supposed to be paid by the developer, and then as such he did not pay at that point of time. You may appreciate the fact that even though there are payments which are to be given in form of premium, there are also certain out-of-pocket expenses which are to be given. If you don't comply with some of them, then obviously the developer would not get, and the society as such would not get the OC. And third and most important thing, there are certain violations in the structure. These structures can be violated in two ways. One is that the developer himself has constructed, and secondly, some of the members who encroached upon or which were given possession in form of fit out possession try to take out the balcony, the chhaja, everything into their flats. So there are structural changes. Once the structural changes happens, obviously the OC is 100% not going to be issued by you. So my submission to this forum is also one more thing, that please don't take possession unless until OC is received. Number one, don't be greedy enough to take a possession through a fit out possession method. That will only violate some of the structures, because you may control your own flat, but you'll not be able to control the other 100 flats who are taking possession.
That means if there is a authorized building which has the commencement certificate, and to the extent of FSI used on that as per the approved plan, so even if there is no OC, still you will be able to get a free fungible FSI, correct?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay. Is there any requirement that total number of members who are registered in the housing society through the register also has to be submitted to the building proposal department?
That is to take the advantage of the regulation 33(7)(b). Under the regulation 33(7)(b), the incentive FSI is given to the existing society. So suppose if there are 15 members and they are registered in the registrar's office, 15 members. So 10 square meter per member is the incentive FSI as per the regulation 33(7)(b). So it is 150 square meter. That much quantum of TDR we require to purchase less. So that is the advantage. That's why you should have. Otherwise, if in the registrar's book, if there are 12 members and actually you are 15 members, then BMC accepts the whichever is less, that is the 12 members. So the incentive FSI will be given on the 12, so 120. So the 30 square meter will be the society's loss. So in order to avoid such losses, we should make the all office records very proper, so that we will get the entire benefits what the government intends to give to the existing society members.
Okay, Advocate Mehta, Amit Mehta, can a mechanical car parking be sold or allotted by the developer?
Yes, it can be, because if there is a mention in the terms and conditions, you know that now parking is saleable. If it is mentioned in the agreement, the answer is yes.
Okay, can the rehab members take the possession of the flat post part OC or even before the OC?
They can always take in the form of fit out possession, but my submission is that don't take till time the OC is received. Even though it may be a part OC, let the part OC come and only the portion which has got the OC take possession of that only.
Okay, so even post part OC of a rehab portion, they can take the position, correct?
Yes.
Now, if there is a part position, some of the builders do demand the maintenance charges from the existing members. Is it proper for such developers to demand maintenance charges from the existing members?
See, normally the developers would take a 12 months advance as far as the maintenance is concerned. The reason is like this, that till the time the entire society is formed, the maintenance ought to continue of the building. So there are chances that most of the developers would normally take a 12 months advance as far as maintenance is concerned, because it's very difficult then to maintain the society. So the answer is yes, as far as maintenance is concerned. But if already society is formed and it is a rehab part which has come, then the society should immediately take over the moment the possession is been taken by the society.
Okay. There is another question to Advocate Sandeep Kangutkar. There is 9-meter road available, but plot is rear the property of 100-meter far. Can we utilize all FSI benefits?
I have not understood this.
Yeah, even I have not understood. Who is that? Who has asked this question?
So whatever the question, he can address to me on my.
हेलो हाँ सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन था कि 9 मीटर का स्क्वायर मीटर रास्ता है विद 30, तो अंदर प्लॉट है ना 50 मीटर अंदर है, मुझे 100 मीटर अंदर है, तो ऐसा लॉ है कि एफएसए का बेनिफिट नहीं मिल सकता है?
50 मीटर अंदर है, लेकिन वो 50 मीटर जो अंदर है वहां पे कितना मीटर रोड है?
3 मीटर ही रोड है सर।
तो नहीं मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा।
नहीं, आपका सवाल ये है कि यदि
समझ गया,
आपका प्लॉट का अप्रोच रोड ही 9 मीटर होना चाहिए, आपका अप्रोच रोड 3 मीटर का है या 6 मीटर का है, तो फिर आपको बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा।
बाहर से 9 मीटर दिखा रहा है, अंदर जरा 50 मीटर के अंदर आएगा तो 3 मीटर हो रहा है।
नहीं मिलेगा सर, क्योंकि आपको टीडीआर का एडवांटेज नहीं मिलेगा। जो आपका एग्जिस्टिंग बिल्डिंग है उतना आप बिल्टअप एरिया कंस्ट्रक्ट कर सकते हो, लेकिन एडिशनल एफएसआई और आपको नहीं मिलेगा।
ओके ओके। और एक अभी और एक क्वेश्चन था, पूछूं?
हाँ पूछिए।
हाँ सर, अभी रोड है ना, एक है ना सर, बीएमसी का रोड है जो हम 33 ईयर्स से यूज कर रहे हैं, और हमारे प्लॉट में रोड ही अंदर दिया नहीं है, जो 9 मीटर 6 मीटर कुछ नहीं, खाली 22 विद एक्सिस पैसेज है ये अंदर बाहर आने के लिए। अभी 9 मीटर का जो लॉ आया 2034 का डीसीपीआर से, जो चिप प्रमोटर एंड डेवलपर रास्ता ही दे रहा नहीं, बोलता है तुम बीएमसी का ही यूज करो।
लेकिन ये
नहीं, इसके बारे
ये
में
जो
आप डिटेल में ना संदीप कानूनकर से डिटेल में बात कर लो। उनका मोबाइल नंबर ऑलरेडी
हाँ,
उन्होंने
नंबर
चैट
है
बॉक्स में
मेरे
डाला
पास,
है।
मैं उनको मिलूंगा सर।
हाँ, आप मिल लीजिए,
हाँ सर।
डिस्कस करिए। ओके।
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
शिव केतन का सवाल है संदीप कानगुटकर।
Yeah.
Our building has already used 1.7 FSI. As per the
Rani,
current DP plans, we can get 2.97 FSI, including fungible FSI.
okay.
Can our plot, which is having 10,000 square foot, can we go for redevelopment?
Any plot can go for the redevelopment, provided that you're looking at the viability and the feasibility of the project. If the project is not viable, you should be able to put funds into that project. The redevelopment is possible. But whether it is actually commercially viable or not, that you have to first check it out.
Yes, sir, can I ask you, sir? Hello?
Yes.
Sir, that's what we are in a problem, sir. Whenever we go to any builder, they are not exactly giving us a right reply, actually. Because our FSI, our 40-year-old, they already use 1:1.75, I think, some midland FSI. Then, so how do we come to know what is actually the commercial viable or not, basically? Because every builder takes you for a ride.
आपका प्लॉट कौन से कितना मीटर का रोड है आपके प्लॉट के सामने?
It is 12 to 13 square meter road है सर.
ओके, तो कुछ अलग रेगुलेशंस यूज करके अगर पॉसिबल है कि आपका प्रोजेक्ट वायबल हो जाता है क्या, दैट वी हैव टू चेक इट आउट. और अगर थोड़ा सा कुछ शॉर्टफॉल है तो आपके एग्जिस्टिंग मेंबर्स उसमें कुछ शॉर्टफॉल को फुलफिल कर सकते हैं कि नहीं, वो भी अपने को देखना पड़ेगा. देन वी कैन कम टू अ कंक्लूजन कि हम लोग रीडेवलपमेंट में डेवलपर के साथ जा सकते हैं कि नहीं.
So sir, for that,
Wait,
do we need to appoint somebody?
Shiv Ketan, please understand that instead of going directly to the developer, you appoint a project management consultant, architect,
Okay.
let him find out various viability, because there is one regulation which Sandeep Kangutkar will now explain you, that is 3311. What is
Okay.
that 3311? In which there will, you can get nearly 4 FSI, and 1 FSI you have to give it to the government. So by using such benefits, it may become viable. So there are different regulations to explore and make the project viable. So you need to meet the consultant and understand that, and then you appoint a developer. Sandeep ji, can you explain a project which is not viable under the regular regulations? How can it be made regular under the transit accommodation policy of the government?
There are 2-3 regulations by means of which we can try to check it out whether in through these regulations also we can make a project viable or not. Number 1 is 3311, number 2 is 3312B, and number 3 is 3320B. And whether your existing building is having authentic OC certificate, then as per the approved plans, we can check it out. As per 33.7b, you will require to purchase zero TDR. So all these factors we will have to check out, and then we can conclude that yes, we can go ahead with any of the regulations. So at present, this is not the right forum to discuss the viability of that particular. We have to check it out the various regulations, and then we will be able to conclude.
Okay, Advocate Amit Mehta, there is a question. Who is authorized to sign the development agreement? Is it all the members or only office bearers, or whether the members of the society should be made a conferring party? If members of society are made conferring party, what are the advantages to the society in the case of executing a PAAA? Sanjay Oak has asked this question.
Okay. As far as the signing authority is concerned, the managing committee is the final authority. However, the resolution can always be passed in a general body meeting. There could be some members who can be taken in the redevelopment committee, and they can also be simultaneously made the party as far as signing is concerned. As far as all the members are concerned, it is our humble submission that if you are taking the signature of all the members of society, there are both pros and cons. The benefit is that some members who are on on a thin wicket ground, and they can sometimes back out, or they have some internal issues going on. It is better to take their signatures on the development agreement so that they are binded together with the society. If you take their signature, the advantage would be that no one will back out later on. So if all the members of the society sign on it, it is good to have them as a conforming party. So all the members do the vacating of the building 100% simultaneously. Otherwise, what will happen if some members are not vacating it? The cost of the developer will increase, and then litigation may start eventually. As far as the disadvantage is concerned of all these members signing, what happens if there is no clear-cut issue, legal hair issues within the families or within the signing authorities of a particular flat? These issues may sometimes crop up later on, and it may lead to multiple litigations. So if the society is 100% sure that all flats have 100% title clear and there are no internal disputes, then it is better to read their procedure.
Okay, Sandeep Kangutkar wants to go for one more meeting. Sandeep ji, can you conclude as to, for a successful redevelopment, there are two methods. One is the self-redevelopment, another is a development through the developer. So what is the modalities that you suggest for a society considering various litigations that is happening in the redevelopment process? Should they go for self-redevelopment? If they are going for self-redevelopment, what are the incentives and the benefits that the societies will get? And if they are going for a developers through model, what are the advantages and disadvantages? With that, you may thereafter leave, and other questions we and Amit Mehta will take you over. Thank you.
Okay. So whether to go with the self-redevelopment or whether to go with a developer, that is the totally possible to take a decision once we finalize the feasibility report. Once you understand the volume of your entire project and what is the initial amount you require to raise the funds and to get the IOD, you will be able in a position whether your society is in a position to go for the self-redevelopment. Once you decide, yes, you are in a position to go for the self-redevelopment, because in a self-redevelopment also, you will require to raise some certain funds, at least to get the IOD, because any banking institution will start funding you after getting the IOD. Or suppose if you appoint a development manager, he will also not do the 100% funding for the self-redevelopment. So it is better first to think about your capacity for raising the funds for getting the IOD. Now for the self-redevelopment, the main advantage is that you are not giving your right to third party. So this is the first major advantage that you have. Then the second, whatever the planning you want to do in your entire redevelopment, that is your total in your control. And whatever the people you want to invite first as your funding agencies, that is also option available to you. But all these parameters, you will require to dedicate some time, you will require to raise some funds, and then all this time aspect is very important in the self-redevelopment. But if you decide to go with the developer also, you will require also to spend some time, but that is a limited. Once the developer is selected, he will take care of raising the funds, he will take care of selling the flats. It entirely will be his responsibility. Our responsibility will be to select a proper developer who has the capacity to do the entire construction very smoothly, and he should be able to give possession in time. That should be the care we have to take. That's all. And whatever the in details we have to go, that we will have to check it out with the feasibility and the various other aspects of that particular plot. Thank you.
We can just inform the participants that Maharashtra Society Welfare Association, by including about 50 experts, including Sandeep Kangutkar, Amit Mehta, and various experts, Anand Gupta also, we have come out with a book, Compendium of Self-Redevelopment.
Right.
In case you are interested in buying that book, it has got about 400 odd pages with the 23 chapters, 26 annexures, which is a very handbook for the purpose of going for redevelopment or self-redevelopment. Right. So you may decide to buy that book. It is available in Maharashtra Societies Welfare Association office, and you can take the benefit. Now, Sandeep ji,
yes, sir.
There is a provision that is about 13th September 2019. Government has come out with the GR promoting the self-redevelopment. In that,
Right.
one of the provision was to arrange the loan through the Maharashtra State Cooperative or Mumbai District Central Cooperative Bank. And let me tell you that in between the loans were not given because RBI had come out certain restriction. Now the RBI has given the permission to Mumbai Bank as well as Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank to give the loan for self-redevelopment. So the self-redevelopment loans are possible. Secondly, in the self-redevelopment, there are one window clearance that Assembly, Devendra Fadnavis ji has already said in the Assembly that 13 September 2019 GR in a letter and spirit will be implemented, and immediately within 1 month, one window clearance will be given for the societies who are going for self-redevelopment. There are other benefits which are attached to the self-redevelopment, that is 10% additional FSI, concession in the premium, and so many other benefits are there, which are there in the GR dated 13 September 2019, which you may go through in detail. And I think, considering all these benefits, one should start exploring the self-redevelopment. And if you are not comfortable, then only you should go for the developers model. The reason being, if you appoint a developer, terminating a developer is a challenge. Instead, you explore all the possibility of self-development. If it is not possible, appoint a developer, so that by that time you have understood various intricacies related to the challenges related to the redevelopment, and then you can appoint a good developer. Otherwise, if you appoint a developer, then he comes out with the challenges and you are not able to digest, you are not able to terminate him, and it may create certain problems. That is the whole thing I need to say. Anand Gupta ji, would you like to say something about redevelopment from the builders perspective, because you are the RERA committee chairman of Builders Association of India also.
I would like to put a 3 question. See,
Sure.
I know the answer of that, but probably answer of that will be really useful to a common man, and which I would like to hear from Ramesh Prabhuji and Advocate Amit, both. See, first, kindly re-endorse. You said that in case people who are not having occupation certificate and still want to go for redevelopment, they will be eligible for all the benefit of the redevelopment, provided they are having a full CC of that earlier building.
Correct.
Okay. Second thing, you kindly can you guide the people who wants to go for redevelopment but do not have conveyance, and they do not want to take also the pain of going for the conveyance.
Okay. See, I would only say that society should obtain the conveyance either through the developer or through under the process of deemed conveyance. Thereafter, they should have the property card in their name. Then only they should appoint a developer. There are so many societies who have not paid the proper stamp duty on their existing agreement. They do not have the required documents, and therefore they think that spending the amount on the conveyance or deemed conveyance will be a huge cost to the society. So they appoint a developer and then ask the developer to comply with all this and then go for the redevelopment. Yes, this also is possible. However, in that case, you should give enough time to the developer, because developer may take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we don't know. So you need to give that enough time to the developer, and only after getting the conveyance, you should execute a development agreement. Till such time, you should enter into a MOU, that is a memorandum of understanding with the developer, and you should not register the development agreement. That is the only suggestion that I can give it to the societies. So only after the conveyance and after the property
Can they not take the help of the present owner?
They can also appoint the present owner or the developer or the builder as the redeveloper. There is no problem. They can do that.
And then they will be eligible for all the benefits.
Then also they will be eligible for all the benefits. Yes.
And Ramesh Puji, my third and the last question is, see, in the beginning,
before you come with the question, please, Sandeep ji, Dharmendra Sharma sir, Sandeep Kangutkar wants to leave the meeting. You can just give a vote of thanks on behalf of the Rotary Club of Bombay West.
Yeah, so Sandeep ji, it's really nice to see you here and spare your valuable time to participate and give your valuable input.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let us meet sometime in person also.
Yeah, thank you. I have had a very wonderful session. Please continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep ji.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ramesh, third question. In the beginning, we said there are around 4,500 projects in Maharashtra which got stalled. Wrongly or rightly, they got stalled. What is the advice you give it to all the people, those who got in this 4,500 projects, how they get their house? What exactly you would like to advise them?
Okay, Amit ji, can you highlight on this? How to revive the stalled project?
It's a very actually open question because we'll have to see a case to case basis. It's not that all these projects have got stalled. There will be many of the issues which will be going in some project or the other. So we would better answer it on case to case basis with this very general question, which has a very general answer. You know how to handle it.
Yeah, I can only say, Anand Gupta ji, these are the projects, 4,500 projects. They are all called as a lapsed projects, which are RERA registered project. So we need to look into in the two types. One which is RERA registered project, one which are not RERA registered project. RERA registered project means where the commencement certificates have come and the development has just started. And therefore, those projects which are RERA registered, the owners will be lying on the RERA. Now, as far as RERA is concerned, what they do is they definitely invite the existing developer to complete the project. And if the existing developer does not complete the project, then they advise the flat purchaser as well as existing society to come together and do it under the self-redevelopment, whereby invoking section 7 and 8, they will authorize the existing society as well as the flat purchaser to appoint a new developer and then go ahead with the redevelopment. We have handled around 5 projects which were stalled during this one. One I can talk about Geetanjali Infra at Borivali, which was started by Mehul Choksi. And Mehul Choksi has left India and the project was stalled. RERA could appoint a new developer and get the project completed. Like this, there are SRA, MADA project, various things. So as Amit ji has rightly pointed out, we need to analyze and understand the intricacies involved in each of the project. We need to meet the existing flat buyers. We need to meet the new flat purchasers and then bring out some solution. And also some haircut may be required to be done by the existing members also in place or in view of giving up the corpus, giving up the what is called as rent, and new flat purchasers may have to contribute some additional money so that project becomes viable. There are some projects which are mortgaged to the various financial institutions, and there are SURFACE which has been or NCLT provisions are made. In that case also we need to see how a project revival plan can be prepared and it can be taken forward. So these are all case to case basis, but naturally more than 50% of projects are viable, they are doable. Only thing, because of the various litigations, things have become stalled, and RERA can definitely intervene. And the projects which are not registered with RERA, naturally they have to go through the legal process either through the arbitration or through the city civil court or through the high court, wherein they need to terminate the existing developer and appoint a new developer or go in the self-redevelopment. Okay, thank you, Anandji.